So I made this game for my older sister because she was graduating and she's a really big fan of the Labyrinth, and the actual Labyrinth, the board game, kind of sucks. And it's based off of the Betrayal on the House on the Hill, or whatever that show I think it's called. Right there are all the pieces I basically made for this thing. Next will be the instruction. The game is at first a exploration game before it turns into the haunts. The game comes with 3 different instruction booklets: the basic rule book, the rule book for the heroes, and the trader's tome. The main difference between this game and the game it's based on is that rather than reaching one haunt and the game is over, the game continues until you reach the main haunt. Every single character has different stats that will change throughout the game. This is the worm. Stats are based off of might and speed and insanity and knowledge. In the game, sometimes you have to take damage, and this damage will be physical or mental damage. Physical damage will be speed and might, and mental damage is the other 2. Sometimes you have to roll depending on a stat. This roll, you take the amount of dice according to which stat it's under. So for the worm, he has 6 insanity, so you roll 6 dice. The Labyrinth kind of has 3 layers. It has an inner layer, a middle layer, and an outer layer. So when playing the game, you have to take from the outer deck when you start until you get to the middle and inner layers of the deck. You add that tile to the other tiles, and then you put your character on top of that tile. False walls do exist in this game, but it's going to look slightly different because of how my cards look. The biggest difference between my version and the original version of this game is that I'm not going to have writing on the cards I have. Instead, within the event deck, there are cards that work like writing on the tiles of Betrayal and the House and the Will, and these events will be placed on top of the tile when you grab the card. With omen cards, some cards you'll take and carry with you, others you discard, and some you place on top of the floor tiles and now act as a room there. If an event and an omen room occur, the event is the item that's during exploring gameplay, but during haunt gameplay, then the omen card overrides the event card. Unlike Betrayal in the House at the end of the hill, in this game, you roll the number of dice for the number of omen cards in play. So if you pick up 1 omen card, that's only 1 dice, rather than rolling, I think, 6 or 8 dice for every omen. So when 3 cards are in play, you get 3 dice. And same as Betrayal, you have to tie or get above in order for a haunt not to occur. So if you get a 0, a haunt is going to occur. Item cards affect stats, and you can carry them. Sometimes they're used for haunts. Sometimes you can't carry an item, in which case it just sits on the tile where you found it. So here's a movement example. I want to move backwards, forward, I don't know. You take a out layer, you place it. On the out layer it says there's an event card, so I'm going to have to draw for that. And I got a Helping Hands card. So another difference between this game and Betrayal in the House on the Bottom of the Hill, whatever it's called, is that rather than being able to access the basement and the roof, the middle and inner levels of the Labyrinth can only be accessed through the Helping Hand cards, and perhaps a different event or omen card will cause you to create a kind of shaft between them that you kind of have to roll for in order to reach the different levels. Then you place that event card on top of the floor tile where you found it. Yeah. And then you place your character on top of that. Playing as a worm, you have a 6 of insanity, so you're going to have to roll a 6 dice. And since I got a 4 on that roll, definitely I did, I can now access the mid area. Then you put a little tile there so you know where the transport section area is. Another interesting event card I have is a Brick Keeper. When this happens, you have to use a special dice for this, which controls your movement for as long as your speed is until you have ended your turn outside of that room. Last thing to note, just like in Betrayal in the House of the Edge of the Hill, the key for which haunt and who the traitor is in the front of the traitor's tome. Unlike the Betrayal at the House on the Edge of the Hill, this is based off of how many omens are in play and what omen card it is. That's it. Any questions?